Chapter 1, Mishnah 4. The previous two Mishnahs discussed whether Zerika can have an effect on meat or a murin of a korban that were taken out of the courtyard of the Beis Hamikdash. The Mishnah goes on to discuss the effects of Zerika in a case where no part of the korban was taken out of the courtyard before Zerika. The effects of the act of Zerika on the blood of a korban of Kodshe Kodashim, such as a chatas or nasham, are both lenient and stringent, while the effects of Zerika of Kodashim Kalim are all stringent. How so? In the case of Kodshe Kodashim, Zerika has both a possible lenient and stringent effect as follows. Before Zerika, both the amurin and the meat are subject to me'ilah, since they are both in the category of the holies of Hashem, from the time the animal is consecrated by its owner to be used as a korban. After Zerika, the amurin remains subject to me'ilah, while the meat is no longer subject to me'ilah. Once Zerika is performed, the meat becomes permitted for the kohanim to eat. It is then no longer subject to me'ilah. This is a leniency that comes about through Zerika. And for both this, i.e. the murin, and this, the meat, once Zerika is performed, a person can be liable to kares for eating them if they are pigul or nosar, or when he is tamei. The prohibition of eating a korban that is pigul or nosar, and the prohibition of eating a korban while the person is tamei apply only after Zerika. The last of the four avodas was performed. Thus, this is a stringency brought about through Zerika. The Mishnah explains how Zerika affects Kodashim Kalim only in a stringent way. But regarding Kodashim Kalim, the effects of Zerika are all stringent. How so? Regarding Kodashim Kalim, before Zerika, neither the amur nor the meat is subject to me'ilah, because korbanos of Kodashim Kalim are not designated entirely for Hashem, since their meat is eaten by their owners. But after Zerika, the amurin becomes subject to me'ilah, since Zerika causes the amurin to be fit for burning on the Mizbeach. At that time, those amurin become designated entirely for Hashem, and are subject to me'ilah. This is a stringency brought about by the Zerika of Kodashim Kalim. However, the meat is still not subject to me'ilah, since it is eaten by the owners, and is thus not designated for Hashem. And for both this, i.e. the amurin, and this, the meat, once Zerika is performed, the person will be liable to kares for eating it if the meat is pigul or nosar, or if he is tamei. This is another stringency brought about by the Zerika. Thus, unlike Kodshe Kodashim, whose Zerika also creates a leniency, releasing the meat from me'ilah, Zerika of Kodashim Kalim creates only stringencies and no leniencies. The Mishnah concludes. It thus emerges that the effects of the act of Zerika of the blood of Kodshe Kodashim are lenient, in that the meat of Kodshe Kodashim is released from me'ilah, and stringent, in that a person becomes liable to kares for eating the korban if it is pigul, nosar, or when he is tamei. While the effects of Zerika of the blood of Kodashim Kalim are all stringent, since after Zerika the amurin becomes subject to me'ilah, and a person becomes liable to the punishment of kares for eating the korban if it is pigul, nosar, or when he is tamei.